Durable dads, brothers from other mothers, and sisters from different misters. Welcome back to another review and brew. Today's review is going to be the Battle of the Med Kits. I just picked up a new one for the Dadventure kit. We got Life Cowboy on location. Speaking of location, we are here at beautiful Harper Lake. What a great spot. A little bit interesting drive getting in here. It just rained, so it was a little bit greasy. However, I was able to make it up. I had four-wheel drive, never felt the need to drop it into four-wheel drive. Minivan, maybe not necessarily recommended. It depends on how brave you're feeling. I felt like I came in a light SUV, felt like maybe a little more clearance was necessary. But again, that's up to you. It's not very far away. Harper Lake is just before Chase and head up. So the south side, great spot. There's a lot of campers settling in for the May Long, and which is kicking off. There's also down that away, there's going to be a mug bod competition. Unfortunately, we're going to miss it. But anyways, I'll stop talking and we'll get to firing up the BioLite, getting some sweet brew, rocking and rolling, and we'll bust out the med kits. See you next clip. Get this, not me.
No. Okay, you got both of you.
Okay.
And we're recording. We've been recording for 6 seconds.
Great. More editing work.
Yes.
Hey, Durable Dads. So, I know you know this, but here's just a really easy trick for getting the kindling or getting things started. If you didn't bring any birch bark or witch's hair or anything like that, take your trusty pocket knife, my little Smith & Wesson, and just carve off a little chunk of wood. Make a bunch of shavings. It's super simple. And it's always going to be handy if you find a piece of wood and you have a knife. And that'll help. I have a nice little pile of kindling going on, and Life Cowboy's made a great pile. And this will help get the fire started with ease. Okay, dads, it is now time for the main event. We're going to call this the unbagging part of the video. We'll stack this up against Life Cowboys. So I didn't currently have a road kit other than the one that I had kind of kicking around in the vehicle. And that's just an overnighter kind of like emergency thing. Life Cowboy is probably in the frame. Yeah. So what have we got in here? I ordered this online, and I think I made a little bit of an error. This isn't your mom and pop, you know, like camping boo-boo kind of action. This is like, oh crap, I missed with the axe kind of action. So what have we got in here? We've got a sealed trauma blanket. These are staying in here. That's going to probably be in the adventure kit, but the thing is that this is not an EDC kind of item, an everyday carry. So
important piece of kit though, like what we got here is actually a really decent pair of scissors. These will cut through zippers. They'll cut through a penny if you want them to. These are high quality scissors, so it's important to have them in your kit. You'll never know when you need to actually use them.
This is a stay, okay? Emergency blanket, always have one. So bobby pins, I've got clipped in here. So those are handy for everything from tensor bandages to, you know, do you need to sew yourself up? They're not butterfly, but they are whatever. You can go punk, back to your punk days, pierce yourself.
Exactly.
Triangular bandages. So what I note isn't in here is medical tape. So medical tape, a roll of medical tape, and just regular band-aids for the boo-boos for the kids. Absolutely a must. Okay, and we've got a little bit of a gauze slash bandage roll going on. It's not a tensor bandage. I want to have one of those. Oh, a good set of tweezers. So if you got some road rash going on or a wicked ass sliver, these are great for everything. A must have. So let's put this out here. So a tourniquet. Okay, This isn't part of your EDC, I don't think, which you're just out with the kids. Okay. Yeah, I see cordage and a couple of carabiners.
Just different methods. I'll let you finish the unveiling, and then I'll talk about what I got.
Nice.
Yeah.
So a tourniquet, this is a pray to God you never have to use this, but it should be in your adventure kit anyway. This isn't going to go in the carry, but I love having it. Okay. Splint. Okay. This is worth keeping an everyday carry. Like right from fingers to wrists to ankles. This is fantastic to have. Thank you. Okay, so now we're getting into the little cotton swabs. Beautiful. Okay, if you don't know the person, and you need to do a little bit of CPR. This is good, sterile, keeps you safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wise idea to have this, especially if you don't know the person. And technically, if you know first aid and you carry it and you come across someone who needs mouth-to-mouth, you're kind of obligated to give it to them.
And especially if they have a big honking cold sore right there that you can see, like, oh, let's get this. So that's an EDC. That's part of your everyday carry, I would.
Definitely wise, I would say.
Alcohol pads, awesome. What also I think is pretty cool about this is povidone iodine. Iodine, you can't get this anymore. It's pretty tough to get your hands on. Iodine's probably one of the best things ever. So having that, antiseptic cleansing for cleansing your wound. Cleansing your wound. Well, you could, but meant. You know what? We're not going to talk about that.
We know what you meant. For sure.
Freudian slip.
A little.
And a bunch of alcohol pads, just good for keeping things sterile. And this is probably the cheesiest roll of, medical tape I've ever seen in my entire life, but it might as well stay in here. Like I said, okay, so we've gutted this thing. This is what you got. So we're going to do a head-to-head here in a second, but I just wanted to let you know my additions would be for out with the kid or just an overnight. It would be adding a bunch of bandages, a roll of gauze for sure, because you can never, having medical tape, electrical tape will do. I've done that a million times, but medical tape's better. So the only things coming out of this one, in my opinion, would be the tourniquet and the emergency trauma blanket. Okay. So
in general, it's I got lots to add. We've got a pretty good kit here for something you bought off Amazon.
Absolutely, and it's cool. It's got the mole system, clip system. It's got the side
for sure
clips. So this will just go right on your backpack.
I might have a slightly different take to first aid. It's very similar in a lot of ways. Oh yeah, we got to keep the BioLite going.
We want coffee. That's coming next.
But basically we got the same sort of thing. I don't generally leave home without this in my vehicle, whether it's the big truck and maybe we're running a slightly bigger saw and a bigger axe, but in the motorcycle I like to bring something with me at all times. So yeah, a splint, lots of triangle bandages, various gauzes. You'll see in here I also have a whole bunch of Tampaxes, the old school tube style ones, because those are extremely good at absorbing blood. So if you have a puncture wound or a deep gash from an axe, it's excellent to build your log cabin of blood quenching in those Tampaxes.
Here's a tip since we've got fire. How do you put out a flaming maxi pad? You tampon it. Okay, time to fire up the BioLite. Got my okay.
So guys, as I was saying earlier, this is where the challenge of lighting a BioLite can really come into effect. If your stuff's not small enough at the bottom, it can be quite tricky, So you can see we're having a little struggle.
It's the angle of the dangle too, right? Angle of the cheese.
Oh, we got smoke, we got flame. It's beautiful.
And the little shavings take off super quick. It's just with such a deep chamber, the initial start is the pain in the butt, but once this thing is rolling, oh yeah, the magic can start happen. Let me bust out the gear.
Hey guys, yeah, so we both have slightly different styles. This is just something I've compiled over a lifetime of being outside and in the woods and hurting myself and figuring out what I actually need and what I don't. Obviously, you've got a really well put together kit that you can buy online quite easily with lots of good items that I don't even have. And then maybe there's something here that we don't have in that, right? So of course, you've got your blanket, your splint, lots of triangle bandages, various gauzes. Something that's really easy to get is lots of tampons. They're excellent at absorbing blood, so if you have a major injury like a gash with an axe, or you, where is it, which one? It was this thumb, you split it open with your little handsaw when you're 20 kilometers off the beaten trail, you've got something to put it back together. Like Durable Dads was saying, tape is super important, so we have a variety of tapes and whatnot, your gloves, Steri strips by 3M. Do you
Nice.
know those
Yeah,
things
those things are great.
thin?
Yeah.
I've got a little package in here which work great for stitches.
Nice.
So this is what I think is probably the most useful part of the entire kit. The 3M Steri strips. You get something that actually needs stitches. This will take care of your business. On top of that, we also have, this is kind of a little hack if you're a woods person. This is golden seal root powder, and I've cut my finger really badly with a knife, applied this, and it was gone 3 days later. So
really?
If you like to wild harvest, that's a fantastic thing out there in the world.
Cool. Where do you find it?
That I couldn't tell you, but you'd have to, I haven't seen it at a winery. Yeah, that's right, at a winery.
Nice.
As growing as a weed, so I'm sure it's fairly more common, maybe warmer climates is kind of my guess. But yeah, that's all I got.
And that's great. And I see cordage. That's definitely in the adventure kit. Don't go anywhere without having a roll of cordage. A little aside is that crazy glue came from the Vietnam War, and crazy glue was what when you didn't have stitches. So, and you were out, and the field medic would actually just squeeze you together and use super glue. So if you have super glue, which is handy for anything, that actually reminds me, I'm going to put that in the adventure kit. You can, obviously, stitches are better. Mm-hmm. Ooh, we're out in the bugs. Bug spray is also good. But you could use, in a pinch, super glue or crazy glue. Mm-hmm. So
it's a really good point. Super glue, crazy glue goes a long way. In general, I don't like to leave the house without, also these things. Paracord, you never know. Like if you're on a hike and you need to make a splint because you don't have the sand, all of a sudden you can cut a log, you can make a full body carrying stretcher for somebody if you need to, a hatchet if you need to light a fire. Something that a lot of people don't think about in actual first aid situations, especially if you're not close to the vehicle like we are today,
right,
is getting someone who's seriously injured out, and how much time and energy that takes. So what I don't have here and what I generally like to carry is some sort of sugar, maybe like a freeze-dried food packet. So if you really need to, because like if you're a ways out there and you're trying to carry someone who's got a broken leg back, it's a lot of effort. So you really want to be prepared for the worst case situation. Sometimes if I'm, at least when I was ski touring back in the day, I would often even bring a small cooking stove, something really light, doesn't take much fuel. You can bring it with you, so if you are going to spend a night in the woods, not that you're lost, but just unintentionally want to be there because you're injured,
right,
then at least you can have a little something for your belly. But yeah, just another thought, the extra thing that goes into
that's
camping,
good.
right, and getting out there.
We are close. It's happening. Lots of smoky action. I think we're on a rolling boil. The rolling boil is going to be obviously what we want. And once that's gotten enough boil time in where I feel safe enough to drink this dirty dog, then it's coffee time. So as I was hacking up a lung for apparently no reason, so we've got the BioLite going. We're about to put on the kettle. That is probably everything that I need that'll fix me up is a good cup of coffee. I'll introduce the cup of coffee when I'm making it. We've got another semi-local brew going on. Anyways, that's not for this one. Let's wrap this up. Not for this
Brazil.
Right? Okay. Semi-locally roasted beans, which I think come from both South America and Africa, ethically sourced.
There you go.
So
probably organic.
Oh
definitely
yeah,
organic.
I know.
We only burnt down half the jungle for this coffee.
Still guilt free. Okay.
No.
Anyways, yeah, I'm a bit of a coffee snob, but I'll give you the lowdown on the coffee once we're ready to brew. So anyways, we've done the kind of head-to-head.
Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts on first aid in general?
I don't like to do it. I can.
Yeah, avoid it.
Avoid it. Oh. That's your first son.
The best reason to carry a first aid kit, I've been doing wild stuff in the woods my whole life. You know, obviously I can't tell you all about it now, but every time I've done it, I've always gone with a well-stocked first aid kit, even if I'm being laughed at by the people saying, oh, it's too heavy, you don't need it. Well, I've never had a bad incident. So minor cuts, whatever, that's pretty manageable, but you bring it with you, chances are you'll never use it.
It's the one time you don't have it when stuff will go down.
Yeah,
it's
and when
Murphy's
you're gonna
Law.
really want it.
And when you got yourself and the kids, and we need to be able to take care of something on the fly, having this, these are all common sense items. I highly encourage you to have this in the adventure kit. What do you see that's in your kit that you would add from mine, and or you would recommend I add to mine?
That's a tough one. I mean, they both cover the bases. I think it's kind of just how simple you want to do it. Like, if you really wanted the most simple first aid kit in the world, I'd bring that, this, and maybe one tourniquet and a couple band-aids. But if you need something that's a little bit more intensive, then either one of these will do just fine. More tape for you. Yeah. And I need to definitely Band-Aids. Get one of these. Mm-hmm. If not even like the full size. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the full size pocket style one, the little case. That might even be a good choice. I think like this is probably a $5 item, and the full pocket one might be closer to 20 or 30, but probably worth it. Absolutely. Yeah, it's especially this day and age. And there we go. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Your medical kit is probably your least sexy piece of gear that you've got going on, but it's also one of the absolutely most important. If you're going to go out adventuring, even if it's light adventuring, have one with you. You know what? I don't want to preach, but take it with you. Never use it. Yep, that's exactly it. That's the game. Take it with you. It's the power is you might not ever do it, but you could. Yeah. Okay, I'll see you next clip. Let's get some coffee on. See you guys. Here we are back. We got the head-to-head over. Next up, if you know the formula, is we're gonna make some coffee. This is again lake water, and this is a little more funky looking water than last time. So we're gonna give this good 6-10 minutes of boil time before we make coffee. And let's get to the coffee du jour. Ooh, close up, close up. Whoa! Okay, so this is also Negro coffee out of Nelson, BC. Not within 100 miles. However, Nelson's a cool little community if you've ever been there. Also, Negro's been around for a long time. This one is called the Prince of Darkness, which is considered a very dark roast. Just the name alone makes me want to have a cup of coffee. Really good coffee, organic, ethical, the whole 9 yards. I've had it before. It's one of my go-tos. So yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about my coffee addiction and keep this thing fed so we can get it boiled and get our coffee on. Catch you next clip. Like now, like ladies and gentlemen, this is the money shot, not the down the pants like plumber's crack action like Life Cowboy was trying to do. I know that a lot OnlyFans account is certainly our next logical move. Like, I really think it is. Really. Like, if OnlyFans can sponsor mountain bikers, they can sponsor us. They can. They can, and we're infinitely sexier. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, this is the money shot. This is the Prince of Darkness doing its percolating of evil thing.
I cannot wait to have this cup of coffee in this incredibly scenic spot. I'm going to be sipping this next clip.
Yeah, sip that coffee, brother.
And we are back. I have my cup of coffee. This guy
has the soda water, because that's the only thing I drink. Rich people water, baby, for days.
That's Perrier, which is French ditch water. That's expensive. That's the fancy stuff.
Ooh,
I have
water
my
with bubbles.
That's right. Mine has no bubbles, but this is an incredibly good cup of coffee. The BioLite once again. Yeah, I know I'm going to try something different for a brew method, maybe a perk pot. But so far, this is knocking it out of the park. So cheers to also Negro.
I had my first sip of coffee in like 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. Holy shit. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't swear. Take that out. Cut.
Filthy
Holy
mouth.
cannoli. That stuff is a drug.
Yes.
Wow, it was powerful. I instantly feel the effects. I'm wired.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't believe.
So maybe I have a higher tolerance and this guy's a lightweight. But anyways, if you're doing drugs like this,
like coffee,
like
then
coffee,
you want to have a good first aid kit with you. Let me tell you.
You never know what kind of, action you could get into when you're in that altered state. Anyways, this is some final thoughts. So we've kind of compared kits and we've had a few ideas. So I guess, and I don't know whether I asked this in the last piece we did, but what was it that in my kit that you would love to see in your kit in the other way around?
Tweezers in my kit for sure. They're definitely useful. Sharp tweezers. We kind of used these ones to pull a couple out and they were kind of dull. So something sharp is really nice. And definitely your pocket mask. I should definitely invest in a pocket mask and a pair of tweezers. And I think for you, maybe just more utilitarian stuff in this sort of kit, like a knife or a carabiner, rope. Just more of your everyday items that you're going to pull out all the time.
You agreed. Okay, so you haven't had a chance to look into the Dadventure kit as it's assembled. Cordage is definitely in there.
Perfect.
My knife is kicking in there too. So I'll get to that maybe next video. I'll do a little bit of a money shot of what I've got in there so far.
Nice.
And again, this is evolving, but I agree. One thing I noticed that he has that I should have in here is a tensor bandage. Okay, but what do I do? I like this. I'll get you the stats for it in. There'll be a little pop-up here of this particular kit. I love it. It's nicely labeled, just in case I forget. It's well put together. It has the space for everything.
And you can fit more. That's the nice thing about actually splurging on Amazon and getting one of these kits. The bags are often understuffed. So you have plenty of room to put the extra stuff like steri strips and whatnot into your thing.
So
hold tight for a minute here.
Yeah, we're gonna have a side-by-side passing by moment. Yep. I think we're gonna leave that in because that's a natural, in the raw, in the wild footage.
In the wild.
In the wild.
That's right. In the wild it was.
So I'm really happy with this, but the thing is I'm gonna dad this down. I'm going to turn this into like the overnight, maybe a 3-day camp kind of boo-boo action. I'm definitely going to have the heavy duty stuff sitting around in the Dadventure kit because that's really important to have. You never know, but like I said, if this is on you and you're going for a hike and you want to clip it onto your backpack just to have it, or just have it in hand or under the seat or what have you. This isn't, like I said, there's a few items that aren't everyday carry. Plenty of bandages. Have one of like Hello Kitty or whatever else, like Spider-Man bandages for you. And
I suppose if you were to clip this on you when you went for a hike, your 16-year-old daughter would probably think you're the coolest dad ever. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
No.
Hard to say.
No, you could stitch your back up and save her life in the next, like whatever, you still suck.
Exactly.
Anyways, like we know how teenagers are, but anyways, it's cool. You don't have to always be the cool dad, but you always have to be
practical
the prepared
dad.
And the
durable.
The durable.
There you go.
Nice. Here, stealing my lines, because this is what you get. But yeah, you be the practical one and have the one, and being prepared and durable,
And durable.
is the way to go. So I'm going to sign off before I get cut off one more time. And so anyways, the next up will be some gratuitous nature footage. So hang tight for that. Thanks for tuning in. Again, smash that like button and ring that bell, as they say. Subscribe up to Durable Dads
And Life Cowboy.
And Life Cowboy. For more of that, we appreciate it. It helps keep the lights on and the coffee hot around this joint. So catch ya next review and brew. Cheers.
Adios, amigos.
There are some people recreating. They are our campmates for the day. Getting a slow pan of the lake. Pretty great spot. Again, I would have to say that this is not car or minivan rated. You can do it for sure. I never used four-wheel drive to get in here, even though it rained last night. But I'm sure glad I had it. Also, would have been nice to have a couple more inches of clearance. But this could be done. But this is, again, 4x4 recommended, and it's not off the highway kind of a spot. But again, we're here at beautiful Harper Lake, near Kamloops and Chase, BC. And there you go, folks. There's your gratuitous nature footage for this clip. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next review.